Bob Dylan is the whole reason the Beatles started smoking marijuana. He showed it to them. He showed them the curative powers of cannabis marijuana. No.
That's a fact I'd rather leave at the bakery. We've come for another one of your famous stories about myths and legends. Norse mythology and human legend. And now I want you to begin by telling me the title of your tale.
You had better calm down. You're an uppity bitch today. I alone run this broadcast.
Sometimes I feel like my presence on this show.
The name of this story is Smash, Squash, Pop. A lot of names wound up on the cutting room floor before one crushed the rest. The actual name of this story is actually in fact Before Time Slips Away from the Time Clock. A story by Emperor Franz Puritan, and it begins like this. Winter bones cometh and reveal all the worldly pleasures a man and a woman can experience. The most incredible feelings were about to commence. No, that's not it. Ahem. Here we go. Once upon a time a giant man-beast of a man named Cunningham bought a ticket to a fair in the northern city of Kinky. The fair was considered by all to be the best thing smoking in all the counties and in the county seat. This fair had some of the fastest roller coasters you can imagine, and all of the fair folk were dressed in some of the most beautiful colors under the sun. Red, yellow, bright yellow, and so on.
Is the color of the fair folks' costumery really relevant?
Fuck off, man. I am trying to tell a goddamn story and you're being a bitchy bitch boy. You're fired. Fired, set on fire and scorched to the bone white depth. The color of the costumes is not relevant as you so stupidly put it, but it adds flavor to the taste bud tinkling aspects of the story, which is what makes me a grandmaster chess player slash storyteller slash one hell of a man about town. I am getting women on the regular, and that's on top of my beautiful wife with whom you're familiar. This hound dog slept with my wife. How are you feeling right about now?
I feel like a chump.
Oh okay, well you're fired, so pack your shit and leave. Oh, and one more thing. Do you like my mustache? I combed it with surf wax today and it smells like tortillas con carne asada.
I like your mustache very much.
You're hired. Now I remember why I hired you. Through thick and thin we're bald-headed friends. Our face fibers are conciliatory. Please viewers, if you want to see hair on my head, remember that the face is part of the head and I have a mustache both wide and deep. I am happy now to begin again with the telling of this story. Where did we leave off? We left off with our gigantic hero Cunningham having just arrived at the fair. The name of the fair, for those of you perhaps interested in irrelevant details like that, was Michelle's Ultimate Fairground. A Chaos Entry Party. A KOK-47 Ground War, the Festival of Trespass. The fair was rich in food, fine dining, fine eating, and of course, as mentioned before, fine fast roller coasters. Now, Cunningham loved to ride roller coasters. He didn't like to ride them without his seatbelt or other some such safety harnesses. He just liked to ride them normally. He wasn't a daredevil or an adrenaline junkie. So just get that nonsense out of your head.
I admit that I assumed he was an adrenaline junkie.
I had assumed that you had assumed this, so I decided to make an ass of you and you alone and kill two stones with one tremendous boulder. It requires a crushing action. Avoid limestone. The rock biter enjoys limestone, but that is for nourishment alone. What the fun? Where am I? Anyway, back to the story. As an aside, I'd like to ask my producers if they've been sneaking PCP into my pre-show Snickers. Back to the story. I digest. So, Cunningham decides upon entering the fair that he will bypass the food fondles and the dine fines and go straight to the world-famous roller coaster called the Scone Inferno Catastrophe. It was given this name because of a handful of reasons. First reason, time constraints. Second reason, fun factor going through the roof on the coaster. I am talking serious wild and crazy times with Omar and the rest of the crew. Third reason it was named that was because once or twice per day a person would board the coaster, eat a scone, Ring a bell and die.
Hola man grise Ted go a gore fortin and so red fans da dance and dance. This shit is intense. Can I say that on the air? It's so hard not to say cuss words around my kids.
So Cunning Stung gets on the roller coaster. He fastens his safety belt. He fastens the safety belt of all of the other men on the rollering coast. Not the women. He fastened only the men. To heaven and hell with the women, they're on their own. That was a famous phrase Cunningham used very frequently. And of course children were not allowed at the fair because nobody likes them. So everyone is ready to ride the roller corner and take the ride of their lives. The average rider was expecting excitement, thrills, thrill chills, expectation boosts and so on. But the above average roller coaster enthusiast was looking for things more like passion, pedantry, perfection, dirty rice, and red beans and rice pudding. In other words, Cunningham did not go to the fair that day to be excited. That motherfucker wanted his skull cap blown off and replaced with a highly efficient windmill. Prototypes are on the way from Japan next year, but more about that later. The roller coaster began as all roller coast.
I have never ridden a roller coaster. I wonder if you could enlighten our viewers as well as myself by enlightening us and enlivening us about the way all roller coasters start.
Well, I guess you just earned a Nobel Poops and Peace Prize for that. Fine. As you all know, except for Candyman here and apparently some pissastry stump munchers out there, a roller coaster starts with an advanced system of pulleys, levers and cross-stitching which creates a ravenous propulsion into the unforgiving man-made tracks. Can we move on now? I am a busy man. Cunningham went into the first loop of the rolling coaster with a great deal of concern. The tracks ahead in the next loop had not been finished. This roller coaster, though 15 years old and fully operational, had not been finished. The roller crew was trying to finish the coaster, but Will Smith from the famous sitcom Will and Grace was performing elsewhere in the park, and everyone knows the coaster men love the Fresh Prince. Do I need to finish the story? Everyone died. The end.